How about there we go? All right. So we're going to do one of those compare and contrast or compare and compare essays, as Teresa Falaran would say. We are going to compare the press conference from right after the referendum to the press conference to right after the school board meeting after Keith Posley resigned. So we'll see how that works out. I think they'll be the same, but different. All right, this is Mandela Barnes here. He is the former lieutenant governor, and I think he did not win election for senator. And this thing, as far as I know, but I've never heard it confirmed.
All right. Well, thank you all
He's
so
a
much for being
relation
here with us
of
this
Marva
morning.
Herndon.
I am excited. I know that the people behind me are also excited today because this was not an easy battle. It was a tough fight, unnecessarily tough, in fact. But we do live to fight another day. As a proud NPS graduate, as I will repeat as often as needed, to see the people of the city of Milwaukee step up to support our students, to step up to support our future means so much to me personally, but it also means so much to me as a person who wants to see this city continue to grow and thrive and to make sure that all of our students have at least the same opportunities that I had. Now, as I said, we live to fight another day. And while we are all here to celebrate, it is a shame that it has come to this. There were 91 referendum questions all across the state of Wisconsin. And it is unfortunate because the money's there. The money's being spent wrong. And my former colleague refused to give school districts across the state of Wisconsin
I can do this. I can pause the video without pausing the recording. I can. This, what I'm hearing right here, by the way, is basically a message from the governor's office. And I mean, this is really the governor's office lending support. He is essentially a surrogate here for Tony Evers, in my opinion.
Resources and the support that they need for students to be able to thrive. It is a shame that we have to beg for money to support the most important thing that we possibly can, and that's opportunity for young folks. Now, we've seen this story time and time again. People want to give tax breaks to the ultra wealthy. People are all too comfortable, all too fine when we finance arenas, stadiums, but when it comes to our children, there's this constant question of, can we do this? Can we afford to do this?
Is that right?
Well, somehow we seem to be able to afford to do everything else. And to put this question on the ballot, putting it up for taxpayers, was one of the most unfortunate things that I have seen. Now, luckily, the people, again, have stepped up. It was a very narrow margin, but it was so disappointing to see a lot of the opposition, some of the same folks, in fact, who were wildly supportive of financing for arenas and stadiums were the same people in opposition. One of the most important questions we get, one of the most important things that business leaders say we can do as a city, as a region, is to attract top talent. People say they have difficulties finding talent. And I don't see how not investing in our students, which will at some point lead to them being being trained to be recruited as top talent. You can't say you have a talent mismatch and decide to not invest in talent. It doesn't make sense.
See, I think that highlights really ultimately what the disconnect is. And if I'm not mistaken, that is ultimately the logic of putting more money at a problem will necessarily solve it. And I mean, I think Bruce Almighty, all sorts of people have commented on this. Going forward on a broken system doesn't necessarily fix it. Again, public education, not public education, is not really the question here. I think the question is more, is the administration, put it another way. I know that some people were opposed to this referendum because they were opposed to the administration. I think that's fair to say. All right, let's keep going here.
It's important for other people to match that sacrifice. It's up to our business leaders to match that sacrifice. It's up to Republicans in the legislature to match the sacrifice of the taxpayers of the city of Milwaukee to make sure
that's the message here. That's what we know. That's from the governor. Is what I'm trying to say.
Intact, so we can offer arts programs, athletics, all sorts of programs that have been denied to so many of our students. I was talking with a friend just today who said that his daughters couldn't even have a basketball program because they couldn't pay a coach. They couldn't get coaches. And we hear this story time and time again, and it's time for us to hear stories like that no
They
more.
couldn't.
So again, just want to say a huge
I
thank you
mean,
to the city more, because it's certainly not doom
I,
and gloom. It's a lot of reasons for us to be celebrating, a lot of reasons for us to be
that's
excited
unfortunate.
and happy for the future. But I hope we do not have to do this again.
I hope we all, the regular watchers and everybody else, can agree that if there is not a basketball coach for that program, it's not that because there isn't enough money available. I could be wrong, but it's because the money is being misallocated. All right, now we're on to Marva Herndon. She's coming out to speak, and the message that I get basically is that they shouldn't have had to ask for this.
It should never have occurred. It should never have come to what it came to this time. I have to say that this was the most heartbreaking. It was the most vicious one, and it was very tough for some of us to get up every day and do it again. But what I want to say about that is that the people you see here and many others that you do not see, we supported each other. We started it with respect. Respect for ourselves, first of all, and respect for each other. And when things got rough, we had our meetings every week, our team's meetings, and we lifted each other up to fight another day. And for that, I want to say thank you all. Thanks, everyone. And what can I say about the residents of Milwaukee?
But it sounds like they're all meeting, and there's no problem with them meeting. They're just meeting about the referendum. They're not necessarily meeting about other things. That seems problematic.
Thanks to the parents, the teachers, the students, the elected officials, who all stood tall, worked together to fight for this, to fight for everything that our children deserve. Thanks to our mayor, our county executive.
I guess I just want to put on that it doesn't seem like at this point they're still talking about the arts programs and the kids getting what they deserve to sort of get them back to where they should be. And again, it's because of the legislature, which is probably not wrong, is not funding the schools properly. But any way you slice it, I think we've shown one way or the other that there's clearly enough money here, especially when we're talking about the budget. It's just, again, how the budget is being handled.
Our former lieutenant governor here supporting us. That meant a lot. But most of all, thanks to the voters of Milwaukee. They showed that they feel the same way that we do, that our children deserve a good education, and we should not have experienced this 20 to 30-year defunding purposely by our state governmental entity.
I'm sorry. I can do this. Again, that they're to explain to everybody who's not from around here, it is true that the legislature has systematically defunded Milwaukee public schools over the past 30 years and has just not kept up with inflation by any stretch of the imagination. And that's ultimately what they're talking about. Okay? And I think the separate thing that we're talking about is the COVID money and how that is being handled. And I think that when we're talking about them being flush with money, I think we're referring to that sort of ESSER money. As far as I know, there is a small fleet of white vans outside being parked in behind the central services today on June 6th because you got to use it, spend it or lose it, right? So. All right. I am not clear on all these faces here, but several of these people are no longer with the school district. As far as I understand, the comptroller of the district is no longer there. And I believe that that's Martha Kreitzman, the CFO on the corner, but I could be wrong. That's definitely Bob Peterson, who's off the board. Hal Leonard is next. I'm not sure who's there. Let's just go figure that out. Hold on one second. All right, so that is definitely Martha Kreitzman on the end there, and she's the chief financial officer. I believe she's not gone yet, but the rumor is that it's all but certain. All right, and the lady in the pink in the middle there is the head of the, or was at that time, the head of the teachers union, who somehow got a new job. I can't. All right, let's keep going.
Poverty, housing, jobs, food.
Sorry, all right. I want to focus in here. I just want to see Posley for a little bit.
Good morning to everyone. I'm Keith Posley, proud superintendent of the Milwaukee Public Schools. And to the people of Milwaukee, thank you, thank you, thank you. I stand here today in awe of the support our community has shown our children. Over the past few months, we have seen parents, teachers, students, and elected officials band together to fight for what our children deserve. Thank you. And thank you, we are able to maintain our class sizes. Art will stay on the walls. Music will continue to fill the halls. We do not take this investment from taxpayers lightly. We heard their feedback during the process, and we will work to include this feedback as we move forward. This investment allows every MPS student to receive more funding. This will directly support children and teachers in our classrooms. We will continue to prioritize district efficiencies to help ensure that MPS is positioned for success long into the future. We will present our long-term facilities master plan to the board of directors. Get ready, it's coming. And we will continue to implement programs that make success.
I swear to goodness, Mandela Barnes does not look to me like he's buying that. That's just my observation.
We are doing everything possible to make sure our children are moving forward academically. As we celebrate today, it is important to understand that our fight is not over. Milwaukeeans stepped up to save our schools from a broken system that must be repaired. For 16 years, the state of Wisconsin has failed to adequately fund public schools. This is why we saw more than 90 school districts go to referendum yesterday. Yesterday, voters.
I mean, he's clearly reading, right?
Is a lifeline. But
some people do, some people don't.
It is not changing the landscape. So schools will need to continue this whole referendum cycle again and again if there's no change. MPS is committed to doing its part and continuing to work with our parents and working also with our partners in Madison to properly support what our children need.
All right. I think you have that there. We'll fast forward a couple of days here, a couple of weeks. Fair enough. All right. They're going to take a few questions. It couldn't hurt to see it. Saying you're going to have the highest paid per pupil funding in the area. How is that going to change things?
It's just like the referendum question stated. Art, music, physical education, library and media specialists, smaller class size to retain highly qualified staff, counselors, social workers, and the list goes on.
What does the district say to nearly half of the voters who did not have the confidence that the district needed this money?
Okay, just like I said, we open for conversations. I'm ready to sit down. The team is ready to sit down, roll up our sleeves. We want our children to be successful because if the children in Milwaukee are successful, the children of the state of Wisconsin will be successful and throughout the country. So we want to make sure that our
Wow.
children are moving forward and doing great things.
Spectacular.
They are doing great things on a daily basis. We just need to come together
Look at Mandela
and
Barnes
support
there.
our young people.
If I could just add one more part to that too, because I wouldn't say that it was, almost half of people saying no to our students. Like, people have been asked of so much already, whether it was the city, the county referendum. Again, we'll go to sports stadiums. People have been asked for so much. The onus falls on the leadership in the legislature. We are running a surplus right now. There is money at the state level that should absolutely be pouring down in the school districts. And so, yeah, this is a tough question to ask people all the time, to say, hey, can you cough up a little more? Can you do a little more? When the money is sitting right there, they've already given so much and it's right there. It's not being allocated properly.
Wow. Somebody was off topic, apparently.
Don't buy another pair of
Wow. Sorry for my ineptitude here. This one is the last one we're going to do. I think it's pretty good. The question is on transparency.
For young people.
Superintendent, there are voters that oppose this referendum over a lack of what they said was transparency.
There's voters who oppose this referendum on what they see as a lack of transparency. What are you going to do to
I
fix
will
that?
continue to do the same things we have done in the past. Every single document that we move forward with comes before basically the Milwaukee Board of School Directors. It's out there on the airways. Anybody can read at any given time. We meet every Tuesday and Thursday night. Our board
Wow, look at Mandela Barnes.
budget book has been, when it's released, every step of the way, all 900 pages spells out every single thing that we will do with those dollars.
Wow.
And we are making it happen on a daily basis.
And that was a bad faith talking point
Oh.
that was supported by a well-funded opposition campaign. And the reality is, on the referendum, all of it was explicitly laid out what the funding was going to be used towards. And it's a shame that, it was manipulated in
Wow.
that way, with as much money it was used to create, or excuse me, to
Wow.
these bad faith arguments.
One of the talking points for the vote
Wow.
yesterday was this potential $200 million.
I think we all saw that. Wow.
Will likely be avoided now.
All right. That's something else. We're going to go to the today. All right, I'm back to the floor. Let's do it.
Why are you already censoring the media?
Two questions, are
Marva
you serious?
Herndon, president of the Milwaukee Board of School Directors.
Why are you censoring the media? You guys have
Two
been not
questions.
transparent
You
for
haven't
a
answered
week.
questions this whole time, and now you're saying just two?
Good afternoon. My name is Marva Herndon, president of the Milwaukee Board of School Directors. First and foremost, I'd like to reiterate that our top priorities are our families, our students, and our staff. Our students, staff, community count on MPS to prepare our youth for success in higher education.
That's true.
Post-education, opportunities, work, and citizenship.
Truth.
This is our mission and our guide as we navigate any and all situations.
Okay.
We realize there are a lot of questions right now, and we're happy to provide information today. Regarding the DPI communication, we, of course, take this matter very seriously. The district continues to make progress in submitting reports to the state. Our staff has been working around the clock.
I'm sorry. It's so hard, with anything regarding schools to just forget about imagine the young middle schooler say that we're continually working to, I'm working around the clock to get my homework in, teacher. But hey.
In partnership with the Department of Public Instruction, our financial consultant, our auditor, to get this work done. On Monday, June 3rd, the 23-24 budget data was submitted to DPI.
So chill
We're
out.
now waiting for them to review and comment. Next week, we will meet our auditors to determine next steps in certification of the district's annual audit. As this work is being completed, the district is ensuring these issues do not happen again. The district is ahead of schedule in its work to submit a corrective action plan. A working draft was submitted to DPI this afternoon for review. We anticipate that the final draft will be accepted soon.
Wouldn't be surprising.
People have asked why and how we've experienced these issues.
These people.
I can tell you we're investigating and we will provide updates as soon as we're able to do so. The district will expedite this project to ensure these challenges are fully resolved. Until then, we will continue to meet with all of our stakeholders. And now I will introduce Director Gokul Gandhi, who will share an update on the district's search for superintendent.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jilly Gokul Gandhi. I'm the Vice President of the Milwaukee Board of School Directors. First, I'd like to echo President Herndon's commitment to our students, families, and community. Their success continues to be our North Star. We have listened to our community's concerns and are taking actions to make things right to chart a new course forward.
The term that many people have used for this in the past is golden carrot medallions. And remember that that goes back to the description for the school lunches as opposed to the reality of the school lunches.
As you know, on Tuesday morning, the board accepted the resignation of Superintendent Keith Posley. The board is now searching for an interim superintendent. We intend to consider possible candidates during an executive session next week. After that meeting, a list of names of any potential candidates will be shared. Once a superintendent is in place, our intent is to launch a national search for a new permanent superintendent to lead the district in the long term. Until an interim superintendent is selected, Regional Superintendent of the Southwest Region, Eduardo Galvan, will lead the district in its day-to-day operations to support our children and families. In the interest of full transparency, we want to tell you that the position of comptroller is now vacant. MPS will launch a search to fill this position as quickly as possible. I'm sure you understand the district cannot comment on personnel issues.
Well, of course it can. It already has. What are you talking about?
Questions related to the passage of the 24-25 proposed
The
budget.
district
It is
comments on
important that
personnel
we
issues
consider
all the
action on
time.
that item next week. We know that our employees want to know what resources will be in place for them for advance of next school year, and we are committed to providing that information as soon as possible. An update on this information will be shared on Friday. We want to remind you that we are committed to transparency and accountability. As a part of that commitment, we want to thank everyone who speaks and otherwise engages in our board meetings. We appreciate your concern and your high level of interest and honesty. Thank you.
Was the comptroller fired? If so, if anyone else with the finance department?
It's remarkable how people's attitudes can change after they see themselves. I mean, let's put it like this. I think but for the Dr. Keither complaint, they would not be making a statement like, we welcome everybody's comments, or potentially from Teresa Faleron. Just for example, I don't think they would be doing that. But maybe, I don't know. Let's put it like this. I don't think I've ever heard a statement like that, last year.
Will they be fired or disciplined?
Who's this person?
All right, so we have time for 2 questions.
Time.
If you're-
Is
if
the
you're
district
considering
considering
decreasing
decreasing
the
the
tax
tax
levy?
levy?
Committed to transparency, why are you censoring the media and limiting us? You're 10 minutes late to a press conference. Why are
Bam.
we only allowed to ask 2 questions each? You both
They have the
just
time,
said.
they're standing here. The
Nicole,
people
you're
have
not elected.
questions
They
that
are.
they
Can we
want
get the
answered.
And you said that all of our questions had to
This
go
is
to
Angela
board
Harris, but I'm not
governance,
sure.
you.
Was the comptroller
Nicole will
fired?
pick,
Will the
2
CFO be
individuals.
fired?
Is the district considering decreasing its tax
Will the
levy?
CFO be fired?
Is the district considering decreasing its tax levy to residents?
The district is focused on getting these documents to DPI. That is our super focus right now.
So is it considering decreasing the tax levy?
The question of the referendum and the question of what's happening now are 2 separate questions, Kendall.
I'm asking about the referendum.
Yes.
I'm
sorry,
glad
I answered that for you.
Thank you.
So the referendum is a separate question. The district is still in.
But their report is, and I'm not.
To fill what would be in, which is dire financial straits, right? And so that's a completely different thing. Right now, we're hyper-focused on providing these documents to DPI.
You said you wanted to be transparent. Will the
Sorry, look. One thing I want to say about that, if you'll give me the chance. It's one thing to be a news organization, or backed by a news organization with a camera person behind you. It's totally another thing to be backed by the power of the courts of the state of Wisconsin. And so let's not imagine for 1 second that it's because I'm so amazing that people have to answer questions, or any other attorney is so amazing that people have to answer their questions, or even any judge is so amazing that people have to answer their questions under oath. It's simply because of the laws of the state of Wisconsin.
was the comptroller fired?
Another question.
All right, so we have time for one more question.
What-
One more
what do you
question, we
tell-
haven't
what-
even
We
asked
want to
questions.
know, was
do you
the
mean
comptroller
time?
We haven't even
fired?
asked
For the
questions.
sake of
But you guys-
transparency.
I'm just saying they're going to do a lot of the work for me, but it's patently ridiculous combined with that look on the media person's face about how she's super serious and means it when it's patently ridiculous. But here we are.
That you
You're
did
not
know
answering any
about these
questions
documents.
directly.
A little louder.
When do you expect the audit will be done, and what has slowed it down to this point?
Yeah, I think that the audit will be done in a timely fashion. As you know, Todd Gray, who has impeccable credentials, has been brought in. He is working. He has been here maybe 72 hours, and in that time, we already have the pathway to submit a corrective action plan. We've submitted a set of data to DPI and are waiting for review and comment. So we're still waiting on a more fully fleshed out timeline for that, but we intend to have updates for you within the next couple of days.
Did you know about the DPI issues before the
What do you
referendum?
think you felt like you should have known more sooner?
Thank you very much.
Why not answer questions from every media outlet? That's unfair.
Several
That
of
is
you guys
unfair.
have said that you did not know about these financial
Why would you not
documents
take all of our
from
questions?
2022
If you don't
that
want us to go to
show
your
that you
house
guys
and
had
chasing
financial
you out in the hallways,
discrepancies
then let
2
us
years
ask you
ago?
questions now.
Why are you hiding from the media? Residents and employees and staff members and taxpayers are calling for your transparency.
Please.
Wow. Well, thanks to those guys for that coverage. There you have it. That's transparency. Oh, man. That was totally worth it. Thanks for sticking with us, y'all. We'll keep you informed. The full endings and beginnings were always better, so to everybody.